everyone, and welcome back to the channel. I want to ask you to please remember to like and share these videos if you enjoy what I do, and so others can also find them. And also, please remember to subscribe to the channel. And make sure you click that little notification bell so you can be notified of my next uploaded videos. The Haitian slave revolt is one of the greatest moments in history. It began August 14, 1791, in a wooded area in Haiti. A ceremony called the Bois Caiman was the kickoff for this great revolution. This revolution ended with the first Black republic being formed here in the Western world. The story of the Haitian Revolution is well known, but very little is talked about regarding what happened after the revolution. What happened to the country? How did it form? How did it get to the point of where it is today? Well, we're going to talk about Haiti from the point after the slave revolt, after the slaves won their freedom and ran the French and everyone else off. We're going to start there. Now, after the Haitian slaves defeated the French and Napoleon and others, a new nation was eventually formed. Though not without its issues and power struggles, there were coups d'etats and assassinations, but eventually on September 22nd, 1804, Jean-Jacques Dessalines proclaimed himself Emperor Jacques I, and he preferred more of a Napoleon-style rule instead of a rule that included the people, that thought of the people. And this was opposite of what the people wanted and what they believed that they fought for. That, along with some other things, led to his assassination on October 17, 1806, by two of his advisors. Two of his very own advisors initiated his assassination. And after his death, for a while, Haiti was split into two rival regimes by the two very conspirators of his coup and assassination. From there, leadership continued to change often as the fight for power among Haitian elites drug on for years and years. Constitutions were written and changed as new leaders came and went. But finally, the Constitution of 1867 brought peaceful and progressive transitions in government, which improved the economy and stability of the nation, as well as the condition of the people. This period of stability and prosperity ended, unfortunately, in 1911, when revolution began. From 1911 to 1914, Haiti had 6 different presidents. They were either exiled or killed. In July 1915, Haiti's 7th president, Wilbraham Guillaume Sam, was dragged out of the French legislation and hacked to death by a mob. This mob then paraded his body through the streets of the Haitian capital, Port-au-Prince. Now, by this time, this is a 72-year period. Haiti had had 102 revolts, wars, or coups, 22 presidents, of which only 1 served a full term, and only 4 died of natural causes. You see, one of the biggest issues that the Haitian population had was during slavery, you had slaves that were brought over from Africa, and then you had the offspring of the slaves and the French, which were the mulatto class. The slaves were slaves. The majority, not all, but the majority of the mulatto class were freedmen. So when the slave revolt began, the mulatto class really did not want to participate in it because they felt like life wasn't that bad for them. They were free. They were not being as mistreated and oppressed as their African brethren. So they were not too interested in participating in the revolt. But as the slaves were winning, more of the mulatto class did participate. And the Haitians won their freedom, ran the French off. But now here's this country new and ready to be ruled. And in the words of one of the people from the mulatto class, they stated that Haiti needed to be ruled by a superior group and not by the lower Africans, because they needed to remove the savage of the African and keep the rest of their Africanness. This was actually something someone from the mulatto class stated. So you had this back and forth between the two. Slaves wanted the country run one way, the former slaves, that is, and the mulatto class or elite class wanted it run another way. And because one group experienced slavery and the other didn't, their point of view of how it should be run was different. The mulatto class wanted to take on the role of the French. They were kind of oppressive. And the slave class wanted land to be distributed and for everyone to be participants in government. This led to the multiple clashes and overthrows and coups d'etats, and it laid a bad foundation for where Haiti would be headed and for it to eventually be taken over. Basically, Haitians couldn't stop getting in the way of their own success. On July 28, 1914, World War I began, and Haiti, who had been of great interest to the U.S. for many years because of its location, became even more of a target for the U.S. because they wanted Haiti as a naval base. The U.S., in their own words, describes what they did to Haiti. And we're going to go to that website now so I can read some of what it says. So here we are on the page of the Office of the Historian, a division of the Department of State. So let's go through this and see what the U.S. says about what it has done to Haiti. And we'll go back and review some of these things and show where they kind of lied about their actions. But for the most part, you still get the gist of, in their own words, what they did. So the U.S. invasion and occupation of Haiti was from 1915 to 1934. Now, following the assassination of the Haitian president in July of 1915, President Woodrow Wilson sent the United States Marines into Haiti to restore order and maintain political and economic stability in the Caribbean. This occupation continued until 1934. So, spoiler alert, he didn't send Marines into Haiti to restore order. He sent it in there to take control of Haiti, as you'll learn later. Now, the United States government's interest in Haiti existed for decades prior to its occupation. As a potential naval base for the United States, Haiti's stability concerned U.S. diplomatic and defense officials who feared Haitian instability might result in foreign rule of Haiti. So the instability in Haiti that was going on, they didn't care about the instability and what was happening with the people. Their concern regarding the instability was that a foreign country would come in and get Haiti when they had interest in Haiti because they wanted it for a military base. So it was not about the people. It was about, oh, they could lose the opportunity to have this land as a naval base to an enemy or another country. So that's what this was all about for the U.S. Now, in 1868, President Andrew Johnson suggested the annexation of the island of Hispaniola, which consisted of Haiti and the Dominican Republic, to secure a U.S. defensive and economic stake in the West Indies. From 1889 to 1891, Secretary of State James Blaine unsuccessfully sought a lease of Mole St. Nicholas, a city on Haiti's northern coast, strategically located for a naval base. In 1910, President William Howard Taft granted Haiti a large loan in hopes that Haiti could pay off its international debt, thus lessening foreign influence. The attempt failed due to the enormity of the debt and the internal instability of the country. When the slave revolt ended and the slaves won their freedom, France threatened that they would attack again unless they paid France for the loss of the slaves and what they felt would be income from it. So basically, France stole people, forced them to work for free. When the people gained their freedom by fighting, France said, we'll leave you alone if you pay us for making us lose you as our labor. Because, France is lazy and they're parasites, as I've said in other videos. Instead of going to work and build their own wealth for their own country, it's always about siphoning from black countries. So this put Haiti in debt. And France, as the former colonizer of Haiti, retained strong economic and diplomatic ties with the Haitian government. The economic tie was the debt. The diplomatic tie was their connection to that mulatto class who was trying to keep power, that minority group trying to keep power over the majority group, which were the African slaves. Now, in the 1824 Franco-Haitian Agreement, France agreed to recognize Haitian independence of Haiti if paid a large indemnity. This kept Haiti in a constant state of debt and placed France in a position of power over Haiti's trade and finances. As I go down, it says, although unhappy about the Haitians' close connection to France, the United States became increasingly concerned with heightened German activity and influence in Haiti. At the start of the 20th century, German presence increased, with German merchants establishing trading branches in Haiti that dominated commercial business in the area. German men married Haitian women to get around laws denying foreigners land ownership and established roots in the community. Because in Haiti's laws, foreigners were not allowed to own land. They did that because they wanted to avoid any possibility of someone else coming in and enslaving them or controlling them again. So what the Germans did was German men went and married Haitian women just so that they could get access to land. Now, the United States considered Germany its chief rival in the Caribbean and feared German control of Haiti would give them a powerful advantage in the region. As a result of increased instability in Haiti in the years before 1915, the United States heightened its activity to deter foreign influence. Between 1911 and 1915, 7 presidents were assassinated or overthrown in Haiti, increasing U.S. policymakers' fear of foreign intervention. In 1914, the Wilson administration sent U.S. Marines into Haiti. They removed $500,000 from the Haitian National Bank in December of 1914 for quote-unquote safekeeping in New York, thus giving the United States control of the bank. I'm going to stop here for a minute. First, I'm going to say, $500,000 in 1914 is the equivalent of $15,284,550 today. Second, I want to provide some clarity on this point where they talk about the United States sent Marines into Haiti and removed $500,000 from the Haitian National Bank. The truth is that American bankers were putting pressure constantly on Woodrow Wilson because of what was going on in Haiti, because Haiti was deeply in debt to some of these American banks. So the American bankers were constantly pressuring Woodrow Wilson. So in response to the American banks, Woodrow Wilson sent in Marines into Haiti, and they removed that money and put that money in New York banks. So they're wording it here as though, the US was holding this money for safekeeping, when in actuality they went in and they took a large chunk of the country's money because the American bankers were demanding that the president do something. So that was the answer. So now a large chunk of Haiti's money is in the bank in New York. Now, this gave the United States control of the bank, and in 1915, Haitian President Jean Villebrun Guillaume Sam was assassinated, which I mentioned earlier. And the situation in Haiti quickly became unstable. In response, President Woodrow Wilson sent the U.S. Marines to Haiti to prevent anarchy. In actuality, the act protected U.S. assets in the area and prevented a possible German invasion. Now, the invasion ended with the Haitian-American Treaty of 1915. The articles of this agreement created the Haitian Gendarmerie, essentially a military force made up of U.S. citizens and Haitians and controlled by the U.S. Marines. The United States gained complete control over Haitian finances and the right to intervene in Haiti whenever the U.S. government deemed necessary. The U.S. government also forced the election of a new pro-American president, Philippe Soudre d'Artiguenave, by the Haitian legislature in August of 1915. Now, the selection of a president that did not represent the choice of the Haitian populace increased unrest in Haiti. Following the successful manipulation of the 1915 elections, the Wilson administration attempted to strong-arm the Haitian legislature into adopting a new constitution in 1917. This constitution allowed foreign land ownership, which had been outlawed since the Haitian Revolution, as a way to prevent foreign control of the country. Extremely reluctant to change the long-standing law, the legislature rejected the new constitution. Lawmakers began drafting a new anti-American constitution, but the United States forced President d'Artiguenave to dissolve the legislature, which did not meet again until 1929. 12 years later. Now, some of the Gendarmerie's more unpopular policies included racial segregation, press censorship, and forced labor. This led to a peasant rebellion from 1919 to 1920. They're calling the slaves, the descendants of the slaves who defeated the French and won their own freedom and their own country, they're calling them peasants. Man. Okay, so the U.S. Senate sent an investigative committee into Haiti in 1921 to examine claims of abuse, and subsequently the U.S. Senate reorganized and centralized power in Haiti. The U.S. Senate, I say this again, the U.S. Senate reorganized and centralized power in Haiti. Ask yourself, who did they centralize the power around? Now, after the reorganization, Haiti remained fairly stable in a select group. A select group. Now, remember when I mentioned earlier about the mulatto class versus the group of those who served directly in slavery, the descendants of the Africans versus those who were the mulattoes, which were the descendants of Africans and the French. So it was that distinct, specific group of people that was given power. although most Haitians remained in poverty, that specific select group achieved economic prosperity. Now, in 1929, a series of strikes and uprisings led the United States to begin withdrawal from Haiti. In 1930, U.S. officials began training Haitian officials to take control of the government. The nerve. As though people needed to learn how to run their own country. So really, this wasn't training them to take control. This was telling them what you're going to do for us to keep this country in our power. Now we go on into 1934. The United States, in concert with President Franklin D. Roosevelt's good neighbor policy, officially withdrew from Haiti while retaining economic connections. That's code for retaining economic power over Haiti. Now that's the U.S.'s story, and even lightening it up, it sounds horrible with what they did to Haiti. We sit back and we look at the country of Haiti right now, and we see the situation it's in. We see its poverty, and you can point the finger to France for them creating that debt on Haiti, but you have to also point just as much to the U.S. for stealing their money, going in with military force, taking control and running the country, and having our Senate, our government, actually running the country as though it's theirs, changing laws, removing people, being behind the assassination of people. We have to say that part out loud, because while it's not written, we have to say it out loud, because we know that they have been behind many. Now, just as a quick summary, let's run through this timeline. On July 28, 1914, World War I began. December 1914, the U.S. steals $500,000 of Haiti's National Reserve from the National Bank in Haiti, and they send it to banks in New York. July 1915, the 7th Haitian president is assassinated, supposedly by a random mob of people. July 28, 1915, the U.S. officially invades Haiti with 3,000 Marines. August 12, 1915, D'Artiguenave, a mulatto senator, is given the presidency by the National Assembly at the behest of the United States, not through an election of the people. In 1916, the U.S. gets the new Haitian president to sign a treaty where Haiti becomes a protectorate of the U.S. Now let's back up a little bit on this timeline, something that wasn't mentioned. 1910, an American investor acquired Haiti's railroad with rights to establish banana plantations on either side of the tracks between Port-au-Prince and Cap-Haitien. Now remember, one of the major parts of Haiti's law is that foreigners are not allowed to own land. But somehow this white businessman was allowed to own land. And we don't know how or what happened, but what we do know is that the land he was allowed to obtain had families who were actually living on that land. They were rural farmers who had been there for generations, and they found themselves suddenly being evicted quickly. This act led to an insurrection involving peasant armies called the Cacos and the urban elites and members of parliament. And this insurrection lasted for 4 years until 1914, when the U.S. came in to invade Haiti and performed the coup, which they eventually performed, where they took over the entire government. This instability is what the U.S. used to justify their actions. After signing the treaty and becoming a U.S. protectorate, American officials assumed control over the financial advisory, customs receivership, the constabulary, the Public Works Service, and the Public Health Service for a period of 10 years. They also established what would become the principal instrument of American authority, and that was the Gendarmerie de Haiti, and it was commanded by American officers. Now, once the Gendarmerie was established, the Marines who came into Haiti, they did not recognize the Haitian military or any Haitian authority. They felt that they were the authority. And a lot of these Marines who came in were from the southern part of the U.S., so they brought their racism and their hatred for blacks with them. And that is why they implemented policies like segregation and things like that. And the Marine officers were assigned to various towns throughout Haiti, and they took control of those towns. So the people living there found themselves under the power of white people who were not invited into their country to begin with, and they resented the U.S. occupation, which they were rightfully so in feeling that way, because the U.S. occupation was not good in any way for them. They experienced a lot of racism and maltreatment. Now, we have the U.S. in the country. They're in control of the government. They write a new constitution. But we know from what I read earlier that the National Assembly refused that constitution since it was revolved around the U.S. They wrote their own. The U.S. did not like that, so they ordered the new president to dissolve the National Assembly, which he did. The U.S. then went on to write a new constitution, which was largely dictated by officials in the U.S. State Department and U.S. Navy Department. And in fact, Franklin D. Roosevelt, who was the undersecretary for the Navy at this time in the Wilson administration, claimed to have personally written the new Constitution. Roosevelt would eventually go on to become president, and it is under him that the U.S. finally left Haiti, but that's years later. Now, with this new Constitution, we know that it abolished the prohibition of foreign ownership of land, and we know that was so important for the U.S. because the excuse they used to even go into Haiti, which was the white ownership of the railroad and the lands and the Haitians uprising over that action. They wanted to solidify the right for Americans to come in and own land and control the country. Now that the Marines and the Gendarmerie are in control, they decided to initiate an extensive road building program to enhance their military effectiveness and to open the country to U.S. investment. They wanted to make the country more palatable to the bankers and businessmen who were wanting to come over and take over Haitian land. But they couldn't quite get this program up and running because they lacked any source of adequate funds for this. So what they did was they revived an old Haitian law from 1864 that originated in the unpaid labor that French peasants provided to their feudal lords. This was known as the corvée. And so basically, the Marines and the Gendarmerie required Haitian peasants. I just really hate that word. They have the nerve to call the people of that country, the descendants of slaves who won their freedom, call them peasants. That gets under my skin. But nonetheless, they required them to perform labor, free unpaid labor, which is slavery basically, on these local roads. The force that they used was that you're basically going to build these roads or we're going to charge you a road tax. So you're going to work in lieu of paying a road tax. Now, mind you, in 1915, Haiti had only 3 miles of road usable by automobiles outside of the towns. So they would have been paying road tax on what? Roads that didn't exist. But that was what the excuse that they used and the force that they used on the people. And they would frequently go to people's homes and drag them from their homes. They had armed guards harass them and force them into these labor gangs to work on the roads. Now, by 1918, more than 470 miles of road had been built or repaired through the Corveille system, including a road that linked Port-au-Prince to Cap Haitien. Now, the Haitians did not like this. They viewed this as slavery at the hands of white men. And this led to an uprising in 1919 by a new Coup, which was led by Charlemagne Perraulty. He vowed to drive the invaders into the sea and free Haiti. Those were his exact words. Now, the Cacos attacked Port-au-Prince in October of 1919, but they were driven back with heavy casualties. Afterwards, the American gendarmerie sent in a Creole-speaking officer to infiltrate Perraulty's group and infiltrate the camp. Once inside of the camp, they killed him and photographed his corpse in an attempt to demoralize the rebels. They actually hung his body on a door and left it there for days to rot in the sun, thinking that would make the people afraid. But that didn't do anything. Instead, leadership of the rebellion passed on to Benoit Betrayal. He was a Caco chieftain from Artibonite. Now, a cacao is just the rural farmers that's what they were called. So they were just rural farmers who rose up to fight against the Americans who were there and the segregation and racism and forced labor they were experiencing. Now, Betrayal launched an assault on the capital. This was a second assault by the group. But his death in 1920 marked the end of the hostilities. Now, one thing I do want to mention, when Perraulty launched his original attack in 1919 on Port-au-Prince, that October, they experienced heavy losses from that attack. But in spite of that, they weren't afraid. They went in with a second attack. The second leader, Betrayal, died in 1920. It did mark the end of the uprisings. But all this death of the local Haitians brought international attention, and that did not look good for the U.S. So Senate hearings were held in 1921 to look into what was going on in Haiti, the acts that were being committed by the Marines. Now, during these Senate hearings, a commandant of the Marine Corps reported that in the 20 months of active resistance that they experienced by the Haitians, 2,250 Haitians had been killed. However, the Secretary of the Navy reported that the death toll was about 3,250. But historians in Haiti and those who were witnesses and who were there report that the death toll was somewhere in the neighborhood of 15,000 people. So the U.S. was trying to undercount the number of deaths that occurred. Now, in 1922, President d'Artiguenave was replaced by a new person who was given the role of president, and that was Louis Borneau. And he ruled without a legislature, I must say, until 1930. So he basically ruled as a dictatorship. And under him, an additional 1,000 miles of road was built. They established an automatic telephone exchange. They modernized the nation's port facilities, and they established a public health service. They also saw the rise and establishment of things like sugar and cotton as exports from the country. So under Borno, Haiti did experience some growth, a good amount of growth and development. But keep in mind, Haiti did not control their finances. The U.S. had access to their finances. So Haiti was not likely really seeing the majority of the money that was coming in from their exports and things like that. But unfortunately for the U.S., the Great Depression hit in 1929, and the Haitians, because of the U.S.'s connection to Haiti, economically especially, Haiti's export prices rose dramatically, and that destroyed their export business and any gains from it from the previous decade. And the Haitians were feeling this economic pressure on the country. They were experiencing it and suffering from it. So the Haitians protested. They went out to march regarding the local economic conditions. And the U.S. Marines killed, one report says 10, one report says 12 Haitians during this march. This occurred in December of 1929. After that, commissions in the U.S. were put together, led by Herbert Hoover, to take a look at possibly removing the U.S. from Haiti at this point, because things were just not looking good for the U.S. in the eyes of the foreign community. As a matter of fact, a U.S. governor of the Philippines named William Cameron Forbes criticized the U.S. for the exclusion of Haitians from positions of authority in the government and constabulary. Sorry. So they were receiving criticism for being in someone else's country, but none of the people in that country, the majority, were not holding any kind of authority or position within government, within military, police, or anything like that. The U.S. were basically colonizing Haiti. They invaded the country, they overthrew the government through a coup, and they were occupying it militarily. And they were killing the people in the process. If the people protested, spoke up, fought back, didn't agree with what they wanted, they eradicated their government and took total control. They began to pull out U.S. troops around 1930, but under Franklin D. Roosevelt, complete withdrawal from Haiti was finally accomplished in 1934 under his good neighbor policy. But the U.S. retained control of Haiti's external finances until 1947. There was a transition government that was put into place, and then Haiti went on to rule itself. But under the U.S. rule, all three rulers during the occupation by the U.S. came from the country's mulatto minority, while at the same time, many in the growing black professional classes departed from the traditional veneration of Haiti's French cultural heritage, and they began to emphasize their nation's African roots. Because while the U.S. occupied Haiti, they did not just remove laws like home or land ownership. They also outlawed voodoo, which was an essential part of their religion and was the most integral part of that Haitian Revolution. It was because of the Haitian Revolution and the knowledge that voodoo was utilized for that the U.S. government outlawed it. So I guess in a way they feared what could be done if they were allowed to practice their voodoo. But in spite of the U.S.'s past with Haiti, believe it or not, They want back in the country. They want control of Haiti again. How do we know they want to get back into Haiti? Well, let's take a look at this next article. This is an article from the Miami Herald. And in this article, titled U.S. Official Says UN Resolution on Haiti is Urgent. We are moving as fast as we can. Let's go down. We're going to go through just a little bit of this, not the whole thing. But it says U.S. officials are circling the globe recruiting countries to join a long-planned multilateral force to intervene in Haiti, increasingly concerned that armed gangs now control roughly 80% of the country's capital of Port-au-Prince, a top American diplomat said Wednesday. But foreign governments are telling Washington they will not commit to the effort until the United Nations Security Council endorses the mission, a resolution that appears stalled at the council, with Russia and China raising questions over the structure of the force and insisting on a proposal from Haiti in writing on the exact nature its request for help, which makes sense. If this country is truly in need of help, instead of you, the United States, saying we need to send people in, Russia and China are saying, well, let's have Haiti send us in writing what their needs are so we can decide what to send them. So the U.S. is trying to push to get into Haiti, but because of the past in Haiti, they can't go directly in themselves. So they've spent at least the last year looking for a country to be the face of this invasion that they want to take on Haiti again. So Todd Robinson, who is the U.S. Assistant Secretary for the Bureau of International Narcotics and Law Enforcement Affairs. Let me first show you a picture of Todd Robinson before I continue. This is Todd Robinson, who is speaking in this interview from this point on. Now, Todd Robinson, as I said, is the U.S. Assistant Secretary for the Bureau of International Narcotics and Law Enforcement Affairs. Why does the Bureau of International Narcotics need to be involved in what's going on in Haiti? We need to ask ourselves that question. That's an odd department to select to be involved in this. But he said at an event at the Wilson Center on Wednesday. Now, this article was written September 13th, 2023. So that was this week. So he said that the U.S. is moving urgently to stand up the multinational security support mission, drafting a resolution with Ecuador that it hopes will receive a vote shortly. There should be no illusions about how urgently we, the U.S. government, see this, Robinson said. We don't have the option of doing nothing. They do. What does he mean they don't have the option? You do have the option of just minding your business, doing nothing. But he's saying because people are suffering, they need to do something. That said, that doesn't make it any less complicated. We are moving as fast as we can, Robinson said. Will we get it done in time? That's what we're trying to do. In time for what is the question. Now, violence in Haiti has been escalating since July, with tens of thousands of Haitians forced to abandon their homes in neighborhoods in the capital. Now, as we go on down, Kenya has offered to consider leading the security support mission in Haiti, but specifics on its role, including whether Kenyan forces will go on the offensive against gangs in the streets, remains unclear. So, in case you're not getting this, the U.S. wants to go back into Haiti, but they don't want to be the face of this invasion. So they have been searching for a year or more for a country to be the face of this invasion, and no one has been willing to step up, and they can't push it through the UN because China and Russia are saying, if Haiti needs help, let them send in writing what they need, and then we can decide what to send for them. but let's just not just go in there just because you say we need to go in. So what the US has been doing outside of the UN is looking for someone to go in. So they have solicited Kenya, who has agreed to help. So they are putting a black face on this invasion so they can sit back and look innocent. So a Kenyan assessment team recently visited Port-au-Prince, New York, and Washington to determine the expectations for the mission. But the Assistant Secretary declined to say whether the United States expects Kenyan forces to be out front in the fight, stating that the nature of their role will be decided by Kenya, Haiti, and the United Nations. Haitians have criticized an initial proposal by Kenya to send a static force that would only secure critical infrastructure such as the airport, seaport, and police academy. While the U.S. is supporting a foreign intervention into Haiti, it does not want to lead it, a position that has forced Washington to search for an alternative leader over the course of nearly a year. Robinson pushed back against the notion that the U.S. would not have a direct role in the mission, after Washington searched for months to find another country to lead it. The notion that we won't be involved is also wrong. There are areas where we absolutely will be directly involved in this mission. But again, we have to be cognizant of history. We have to be cognizant of what other priorities are out there. And this is not one country's issue to solve. This has become and has been an international crisis for a long time, and it's going to take an international response to get to the right place. So the French started it. The U.S. made it horrifically worse. They've been in power since 1915, and now they're saying this whole thing is a mess. We need to get back in there because we're losing control, but we need a black face to do it. So that's basically what's going on. There's more in this article, but those are the main points that I wanted to make here. Presently, Kenya has sent some police officers to Haiti, and they are on the ground there to assist Haitian police where needed. So basically, Kenya has chosen to serve the West, the enemy, instead of being its brother's keeper, instead of providing support strictly to Haiti without it being at the behest of the United States. So the United States gets to sit back and laugh and watch this unfold, as they have put a black face to their invasion of this country that they have already put through so much and have pushed to the brink of poverty and rebellion. Mother Africa is supposed to be there to protect its children around the world. I hope the African Union steps up and decides to be just that, a protector and supporter of other black nations, instead of sitting silent and idly by while watching the West continuously devour its own people around the world. And it's unfortunate that Kenya has chosen the wrong side. So guys, that's it for today's video. And as always, please remember to like, share, subscribe, and comment on what you think about today's story. I'll see you soon.